Hey friends, my name's RJ Owen. I'm a designer living in Denver, Colorado, and I'm giving a talk next week at South by Southwest on a topic called moral design. And I wanted to release a little preview of the talk out to all of you and get your feedback ahead of time. My talk is next Monday at 3:30. So I'd love if you could just give me 5 minutes to listen to what I'm trying to do here and then give me some feedback, and it will really help me make a magnificent talk. So let's dive right in. So for me, this topic of moral design really started when a friend and I were having brunch, and I noticed a guy whip out this like gigantic camera and start taking pictures of his food. And I don't want to spend too much time making fun of this guy. This is something that we all do to some extent, but it just made me realize the extent to which all of these things we use change our behavior, whether it's Instagram or Twitter, even Apple or Microsoft. All of these digital things we use in the interactive world are designed to change the way that we live, we relate, the way that we interact with the world around us and the people that we interact with. And that's a really big deal. Those are topics that have some serious moral weight. It reminded me of a blog post I read by a guy named Dmitry Fediev. And Dmitry is a really, really talented blogger and designer. He writes some really interesting, challenging stuff. But he wrote a blog post on moral design. And his sort of opening thesis is that only design that's inherently moral can really be good. And this got me really thinking about what it means to do a design that's moral and what it means for us to build products and services that are moral and enhance the lives of people who use them. And that's the topic that I want to explore in our talk today. So this really centers around the question of what it means to live well and what view of living well and what the view of sort of like the perfect life is that our products and our services capture. Dimitri says at the end of his post that since we don't have a good understanding of what it is that design should aim to achieve and how it should go about doing it, it makes it hard for us to talk about design in the context of morality. So those are the two things that I want to break down in my talk. I'm going to start by talking about what design should aim to achieve, and for that I'm going to go through a lot of different examples, but really focus on design as a promise and what it means to promise users, the types of things we should promise users in our products and services. And then I want to talk about how designs should achieve those aims. And for this, I want to build a framework for moral design. I'm going to draw from some popular frameworks from sort of pillars of design throughout history. I'm going to start with John Ruskin and talk about the 7 lamps of architecture and the moral framework he lays out for doing good design there. I'm going to go through, of course, the 10 commandments of good design from Dieter Rams. And then I'm also going to pull from a guy called Wendell Berry. And Wendell Berry isn't often cited as a design source because he's not, at least in the classical sense, a designer, but he has a lot of good thoughts about the way that people should live in the context of their environments, specifically for him as it relates to architecture. So I'm going to draw from a chapter called Solving for Pattern from his book, The Gift of Good Land. And the framework that I'm going to come up with is something that I'm calling organic design. The fundamental thesis of this is that we need to treat the user, the design, the brand, and the environment as a single organism. And that's where I'm pulling that word organic from. This really comes from something Wendell Berry said about viewing a farmer and his farm and the land as being a single organism. And this changes our view of design because it means that what's healthy for one has to be healthy for all of the others. So I break this framework down into the different ways that we need to think about our products, the different ways we need to think about our design. I have a bunch of principles of organic design that we'll go through. Then I'm going to show some case studies of people who I think are already doing organic design, doing it really well, why I think that works, a couple examples of people who I think aren't, and the reasons why that doesn't work. Then I'm going to move into talking about how to integrate organic design into the deliverables that designers and UX practitioners are already giving. So we'll talk about journey maps and how you can integrate the organic design principles into a journey map. We'll talk about a customer hierarchy of needs, and I'll fix the spelling on that. Then we'll talk about personas finally. And then I'm going to end with some inspirational quotes about why it's important to do the right thing. So that's my talk. Oh, I meant to fill in here. My Twitter handle is RJ Owen, RJ Owen. And my email address is rjowen@gmail.com. And that's from me, that's not from Mark Twain. But I would love to get your feedback on any of this, on what you think about that talk. If these topics seem interesting, if there's something you feel like I'm missing, please drop me a line on one of these channels and let me know what you think. Thanks very much for your time, and I hope to see you out at South by Southwest. Bye.